Guys. So I have been sharing with you guys this book that I'm reading called Living Forward, a proven plan to stop drifting and get the life that you want. And so a lot of what this book is about is kind of how we just go through the motions of life, and like one day you wake up and you're like, this is not where I wanted to be, or I'm turning 30 this year and I thought for sure I would have been so far in my career, or I would have bought a house, or I would have had kids and a family, or whatever. And like a lot of these realizations, or where you end up at in life, it's not something that happens overnight. It's a series of daily action or inaction that brings you to that place. And so that's what this author is talking about with drifting. Like, just think about a piece of like wood or whatever that you throw into the river, and it just drifts along and it kind of lands wherever it lands. And that's kind of like what we do with our life sometimes, when you're just going through the motion with no specific plan, no specific goals, and then you land somewhere, and you're like, how did I get here? Why am I here? This isn't what I wanted. So that's kind of what this book is about. And I'm getting to a part in the book where it's asking you to write your eulogy. And I've heard of people writing out their eulogy before, or I've heard of, different exercises where people will have you do that and write out your eulogy. Who's going to be at your funeral? Who would be there? Who's going to show up? And what do you want them to say about you? What do you want to be remembered for? And like on the surface, I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea. Like, people should definitely do that. People should do that, not me. But now that I'm reading this book, I'm like, all right, well, the book is telling me I need to do this, and I am not wanting to drift through life. So it makes you ask yourself some hard questions, like, on the path that you're on right now, what are you going to be remembered for? Are you, like, what do you want your husband to say about you at your funeral? What do you want your kids to say about you? What do you want the people at your church to say about you? And, it's kind of a really alerting question. Like, do you want your husband to remember you as a frazzled, crazy lady that was always exhausted and tired and not yourself? Do you want your kids to remember you as that lady that was always yelling at you to pick up your toys and was always at work and never made it to my soccer practice? And like, sometimes those are tough realities to face, and they're kind of hard to admit but when you drift and when you let your life just happen, those are sometimes the things that happen. And you're like, how did I get here? So I haven't written my eulogy out yet, but I'm going to do it, and that's why I decided to make this live video, so that I can put it out there for accountability, and just to make it public that I'm going to do this assignment. I've heard about it, I've read about it, I've seen other people do it as part of creating a life plan for yourself. And you know what? When you do this and you decide what you want to be remembered by, you can make that course correction on your life. You can say, I don't want people to remember me as somebody that was not fun, not energetic, not present. I don't want to be remembered as the mom that was always traveling and never had time for my kids. I don't want to be remembered by my husband as the person who was always exhausted, never had time for me, always, disconnected from our marriage, and sometimes you just have to be honest with yourself. You really do. And I think that's why I have avoided ever really doing this, because you have to kind of dig deep and be honest with yourself and kind of take account to where you are on those things, on the kind of mom that you are right now, the kind of boss or employee that you are right now, the kind of member that you are at your church. Are you contributing? Are you raising your hand when week after week after week the people at church are saying they need volunteers? You know, those are the kind of things that you need to take an account of yourself and make some decisions. Are you on the path that you want to be? Are you on the path that's going to lead you to having a room full of people at your funeral saying that you were an amazing person, saying that you were always there, you were always the person that brightened up the room, you were always the person that inspired others to make changes, you were always the person that was happy to help, happy to contribute, happy to be there, happy to be a shoulder to cry on or to lean on for support. Always somebody that was there to help when they could. You know, are you the spouse that was always there to be supportive and loving and give that, you know, love that a marriage requires, that commitment level? So, anyways, that is something I'm going to get started on. As soon as I finish this video, I'm going to write it out. And I'm a little scared about it, actually. And like I've said, I've heard about other people doing this assignment before. And honestly, like, I've kind of been like, I don't even know who would come to my funeral, like outside, of course, of my immediate family. But it's kind of a scary question to dig into. So anyways, I would challenge you guys to think about that and just kind of think about the direction that your life is going. And totally would recommend this book, Living Forward by Michael Hyatt and Daniel Harkavy. Michael Hyatt also has a really great podcast that I really love listening to. And yeah. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching and listening to me ramble a little bit. Thanks for getting on live. Hey, Stella. Yeah, so it's definitely one of those things I've heard about time and time again, and I'm finally just going to commit to doing it. And anyways, guys, I hope you're having a great day. Dig deep into some of these questions and, you know, be honest with yourself on these topics. And don't drift through life. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Have an amazing day.